In this video, we'll discuss the simplified life cycle of the Spruce Gall Adelgid. Here are examples of symptoms, the most common symptoms of this particular pest. The thing to understand with Spruce Gall Adelgids is that they're a multi-host pest. They exist on 2 different host plants generally. They have a 2-year life cycle. So in the first year, if you're dealing with the Spruce Gall Adelgid, specifically this occurs on larch, the first generation. And for the Coulee Spruce Gall Adelgid, you're dealing with Douglas fir. The Adelgid is an aphid-like insect. It's different in that it doesn't have some of the same pieces, and the different life stages are difficult to differentiate between. But in this case, the Adelgid they're all generally female except for certain stages. And in the first generation, you've got the adults that are on the first host, and then what happens is a winged form, also female, occurs and will fly from either the Douglas fir or the larch and move over to the spruce trees, where the majority of the damage and the majority of the life cycle takes place. And so regardless of the species, the same life cycle occurs there. Once that winged female arrives, it lays multiple eggs. These are unfertilized eggs that occur by parthenogenesis, which doesn't require mating to occur. But multiple eggs are laid on the spruce, which then hatch to produce both male and female adelgids, which then mate. And the females that emerge from, the mated females will lay a single egg on the spruce, which will then hatch to produce a nymph, also female, which will then overwinter for that year. And then the generation will continue into the next year. So we pick up in spring of the next year, in year 2. Again, we're still on the spruce. And we've got that special female nymph that's there. It will mature and proceed to lay eggs, up to 200 of them. And those eggs will hatch, and depending on the species of the adelgid, either the Spruce Gall Adelgid or the Coulee Spruce Gall Adelgid, will produce different galls, because these nymphs will sort of burrow into the new growth, into the candles of that spruce, and will produce either, in the case of the Spruce Gall Adelgid, it will be an elongated gall that's several inches long, looks sort of just a thickened bit of stem. It looks a little bit more brush-like. Over time, those will turn gray and brown and look kind of hollow, but they're definitely a lot longer, and they sort of deform. They'll turn a darker color, or like an orangey reddy color, and you'll see them on the end of the branches. So this is the Coulee Spruce Gall Adelgid gall damage. If it's the Spruce Gall Adelgid, the galls are much more small. They're maybe an inch long, and they look a little bit like a pineapple. They're quite a bit more swollen, and the needles don't tend to be quite as long. On the inside, if you open it up, it has little chambers, and that's where the nymphs live and mature. There may be some webbing or sort of cottony type stuff inside, and so they're quite conspicuous. But anyways, from there, the nymphs mature and complete their life cycle in that protected environment. As I said, the Spruce Gall Adelgid is kind of pineapple-like. Looks quite interesting on the outside, and then on the inside kind of have these little hollow chambers. The nymphs that will mature and produce a female, again, that is winged because it's time to move. And so those winged females, winged form females, will now move across back to the other host, either the Douglas fir or the larch, completing the life cycle. It isn't necessary that the thing move across. It can stay and just cycle on the one on the spruce. However, the main idea is to that move from host to host.